Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So just recently, Kanye West went on a Twitter rant, is what they call them, and was posting all these tweets that were really messed up. He was saying a lot about the Jays, which is why you will not see me post nary any of those tweets in this video. He said a whole lot of disrespectful stuff about black people. Now, some people, they like to do this whole, oh, well, whenever he's going on his rants, sometimes he says some stuff that is the truth, or he inserts some little pieces of the truth in them, which makes the rants all the more frustrating because it's like, okay, why can't you just say what you have to say that's the truth and leave it at that? Why do you have to be disrespectful? Why do you have to be racist? Why do you have to be misogynistic? Most people were like, wow, Kanye, well, just go ahead and get it all off your chest anyway, since that's what you're going to do. And they were not surprised at the stuff that he was saying. Most people were not surprised, just a little bit taken aback by the arrogance and the pride. And I mentioned that because of the part of the rant where he was saying certain things about certain people. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And then mentioned, oh, well, they canceled me. They tried to, knock me down a peg by taking away the money. Then I got it back. So, ha ha, nana boo boo, essentially. I can do whatever I want to. I'm not afraid of the backlash. That's essentially what he was saying. Of course, he still needs to tread carefully because at the end of the day, he's still a very mortal individual and he's still black. And once again, we all know that doesn't go well for people of a certain hue when they do certain things. He might think he's at the top. He might think he's a god because of all of what he's done or what he's been able to get away with. But at the end of the day, there's only one true and living God. And it's not him. It's not Jay-Z either. He might not be concerned about the backlash that the media is going to give him, that the Jays are going to give him. But he really should be very concerned about the backlash that he's going to get from the Most High Yeshua because of what's been coming out of his mouth lately. Now, a lot of people have been saying they've been praying for him. They've been sending up prayers for his mental health, that he will come out of his delusion and realize what he's doing is very morbidly, gravely wrong and turn away from all of this. Some people have been saying we're not even accepting the mental health excuse or that issue about his mother. We are so sick and tired of him using his deceased black mother as an excuse to do what he's done. Nobody's also accepting the mental health excuse because there are plenty of people walking around with mental health issues who are not racist, that don't go on racist Twitter rants when they're angry, when they can't get their way, when they can't get the attention that they want, when they're mad because things didn't work out the way they wanted them to. Even though what he's been saying, he's been gone too far, he really took it a step even further. He crossed some boundaries just recently by basically mocking, if you will, what happened to Cassie. Now, there are some people, there's of course this argument, it's been brewing. I've been seeing it coming. I'm just wondering when exactly it's going to explode on the internet, if you will. This conversation, this discourse, if you will, surrounding Cassie. Basically, some people, and I see that it's been mostly men pushing this, basically trying to make it seem like she's no victim, that she signed up for this. Oh, what she did behind closed doors. Now, if you all will remember back some time ago, there was some talk of basically the time whenever Cassie was in a relationship with P. Devil Combs. It sort of overlapped the relationship, if you will, that he had with Kim Porter, meaning that they were kind of around during that same time, and that there was a point in time where some kind of incident happened where Kim Porter was in the bed with P. Devil Combs, and he kicked her out of the bed and basically was like, get out of here. I want Cassie to be in the bed now. Is basically using this relationship to hurt Kim Porter and kind of creating this colorism difference between the two of them. There have even been rumors and allegations, I don't know where they came from, maybe somebody made them up, alleging that Kim Porter was biracial. Now, I did a little bit of research and I have not found anything that would lead to that, insinuate that. There were, like I said, rumors people were circulating on the internet claiming that Kim Porter was biracial, that she was half black, half Asian. And there were some people claiming that that was one of the reasons why, besides her being very beautiful and successful, that P. Devil Combs chose to be with her and had babies with her, because there are some people alleging that he has a thing for Asian women, which I can understand why they say that. Now, Cassie is of a mixed descent, so to speak. Allegedly, her mother is of African American, Mexican, and West Indian descent, and her father is Filipino. So once again, allegedly, the rumors were that he was trying to create this colorism, if you will, this light, dark, stuff that people do in real life. So it's not very hard to believe. So he used that as a weapon. He weaponized that against really both of them. He used that to hurt Kim Porter, is what some of the allegations were, and that they're trying to allege she was complicit in this, and basically saying also that, oh, well, she knew that she was going to have to do some things or be involved in some things or get hurt if she wanted to go to the next level in the industry. Once again, promoting this idea that she was not a victim. Now, there's a lot of situations where some people may have made bad decisions, and because of those bad decisions, they suffered consequences. They were very bad. Does that mean they deserve said consequences? Does that mean that they deserve to be abused? Absolutely not. So even if some of these angles that people are trying to push, were true, that's still disgusting to say. And again, it shows our society and where our society's mind is when it pertains to domestic violence, especially against women. Because even through all of this, who is paying attention to and calling out still the abuser? So we have so much smoke for the victim, the alleged victim. Y'all know I have to say alleged. What happened? Oh, well, what did she do? What was she wearing? What did she do to him? Well, she got into the relationship with him. Still ignoring the fact, most people are ignoring the fact that Cassie was a teenager when P. Devil Combs essentially groomed her. Y'all know I have to say allegedly, but what other kind of situation would you put to what happened? She was 19 years old. She was in a relationship. They alleged that he took her from the boyfriend that she was with. This is P. Devil Combs we're talking about. We all know that he was doing dirty stuff, allegedly. Y'all know I have to say allegedly. Behind closed doors, he knew how to make people do what he wanted them to do. Threatening people, even grown men, which is why I'm failing to understand how grown men could sit up and make it seem like Cassie had some choice or had a whole lot of choices in these situations. But again, all of that conversation is shady. Once again, it shows the very sick and twisted mindset of our society, of our community. And the reason why I brought this up once again is this is where a lot of these people are coming from. And Kanye just basically pushed that conversation to the forefront by what he did. And I quote, Kanye West has garnered the ire of fans after sharing snide tweets that trivialized a gruesome video clip of Cassandra Cassie Ventura being assaulted by her ex-partner, Sean Diddy Combs. End quote. He was doing a whole lot of free Diddy posts, making it seem like, oh, he should be let out of jail again, basically tagging Trump, talking about, oh, let him out of prison, etc., give him a pardon. Y'all know the Tiger King guy tried that too, right? The Tiger King guy, remember him? Carol Baskin and all that kind of stuff. He actually allegedly wrote to Trump asking him to pardon him so that he could get out of prison. Now, some people to this day don't believe that he tried to unalive that woman. Maybe it was because of their support of him. Whether he did or he didn't, allegedly, he was out here doing some crazy stuff, some mad crazy stuff that he needs to be sitting in prison for anyway. So my thing is, common sense, if he didn't pardon Mr. Tiger King, what in the world made Kanye really think he was going to pardon Diddy's black behind? Even if he was the one asking him. Because I know that him and Trump have sort of an acquaintance, if you will, going on. Some kind of, friendship. Doesn't matter how many MAGA hats you put on. You're still black at the end of the day. And Trump has a reputation to maintain. That's how the game is played. He should know that by now, but his arrogance, his pride, and his white supremacy has blinded and deluded him so much to the point where he can't see the truth. I just thought that was all the way crazy. But anyways, then he goes on to make this statement, which we have to condemn immediately because it's unacceptable. It's a mindset that has run amok in our society, in the black community. Just because somebody says they love you, or that they love, or they call themselves love. Because that's what P. Devil Combs did. Remember calling himself Brother Love? He's a liar like the devil and the truth ain't in him. Just because somebody says love doesn't mean they know what it actually is. or even how to love. Once again, you all have to understand, just because somebody says they love does not mean they actually do, or that they even know what love is or how to love. This perverse, carnal, secular, ungodly love, form of love that a lot of people are putting on display and saying that it's love, it is not. And Kanye has put that on display. We need to learn from it. And I quote, I think he meant to say when a man truly loves a woman, he may express it in rage. I empathize with both sides, West wrote, adding an image of the embattled music mogul and Cassie, which was screenshotted from the assault footage. The rapper further doubled down on his earlier tweet, saying you have to truly be in love to get to the point of risking everything. End quote. I'm going to pause right here to condemn this mindset, to condemn these words for just a moment. That was not love. What Kanye is speaking of is not love. Let me show y'all what love is. You can find it right in the Bible. First of all, God is love, first and foremost. And he shows you, if you really love somebody, this is how you will govern yourself. Real love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful. It is not jealous or envious. Love, it is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not provoked nor overly sensitive and easily angered. It does not take. Love does not rejoice at injustice, but rejoices with the truth when right and truth prevail. Love bears all things regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for the best in each one. Love never fails, it never fades nor ends. I would much rather biblical and godly love, non-perverse love, love that's functional, than this fake love that people are promoting. Abuse and toxicness that's taking on the facade of love. I'd much rather the biblical, godly love. What Kanye West is talking about, what he's trying to claim was going on with Cassie and P. Devil Combs was not love. That was a relationship of abuse, of toxicness, of dysfunction. He did not love her. He lusted after her, and he wanted to have her like an object. He wanted to use her. He wanted to possess her, so to speak. He wanted to do things to her against her will. Even all the other people around him. The audacity of that man to call himself Brother Love when he treated so many people around him with disrespect and the opposite of love. Again, my mind goes back to the Dawn lawsuit where she alleged that he yelled in her face in front of people. They got into it after he did something to her that was wrong. She confronted him and he yelled in her face, got in her face, was about to go upside her head and in front of people. She alleged multiple times she saw him doing stuff to Cassie. She was the only one, the woman in the situation, who actually wanted to do something to stop him, but couldn't. Because what could she do? Especially alone. And who would listen to her? Because even now, after coming out, people still don't want to believe her. And I quote, further fanning the flames, West also posted a tweet that downplayed the seriousness of domestic violence. He remarked, hey, question, if someone were to beat up their girlfriend in public, would that be considered domestic violence? Or is that outdoor violence? Or is it just public indecency? I'm just asking for a friend, end quote. Now, this was disrespectful because, well, for one, whenever people add that, oh, I'm just asking for a friend, we all know in this culture, whenever people do that, that's supposed to be like a joke. If something's going on and they're interested and they want to ask a question, or they want to know more about what's going on, but they're too embarrassed to have their name attached to wanting to know more about what's going on, they say, oh, I'm just asking for a friend. Usually followed by a laughing face emoji. I'll give you an example for anybody who isn't familiar with that kind of a joke. It's if somebody's daughter posted some half nude photos on the internet and then somebody's greasy, nasty uncle was like, oh, she's really pretty. I wonder if she has an OnlyFans. Oh, but I'm just asking for a friend. But we all know you're asking for yourself because you want to indulge in something that you shouldn't. That's the energy that this is giving. That on top of him acting ignorant because he knows good and doggone well beating up your girlfriend in public especially is domestic violence. Not only is it domestic violence, it's also domestic violence with witnesses. Public indecency is him and his wife dropping her coat and showing her naked cheeks, so to speak, on the red carpet. Like I said, he knows this. We all know this. So while he's acting ignorant, that's what rubbed people the wrong way. His nonchalance about a very serious subject that he's not the victim of. Imagine the people who are the victims of domestic violence seeing him post this. That's a slap in their faces. On top of all of the free puff posts and all of the him trying to defend him, calling him his brother and trying to drag everybody for condemning him and his actions, allegedly he made a duplicate of the sweater that Cassie was wearing in that video when she was trying to escape from P. Devil Combs and is selling it on his website. I said allegedly. That was also very insensitive and disgusting, but you will still have people supporting him because that's what they do in the community. That's what they do in society. They don't care about what people with these celebrities be doing to people behind closed doors and in front of all of our faces. They will still support them out of the idol worship and the lust, the parasocial relationship of it all for these celebrities. Allegedly, P. Devil Combs responded by thanking him on Instagram. Why he even has access to Instagram, and it could be one of his kids or an agent, whatever, but the fact that that even was allowed to go through while he's sitting in prison is disgusting as well. Once again, it goes to show you how much of a joke our justice system is, especially when it comes to the rich and the powerful, because you really think somebody who did not have as much money, fame, power, and influence as P. Devil Combs did all this stuff, if he'd be able to send a thank you through Instagram to somebody defending him. As a matter of fact, all of the stuff that he's been doing since he's been in prison that's been sensationalized would have never been allowed if it was a regular person. Now, moving on from that, because I could go on and on. Somebody said something very, very true on social media concerning this situation after all this blew up. And I quote, "This ain't love, bruh, but congrats on exposing yourself. Now we all know how you treat Bianca," end quote. Now, I don't know if he actually treats her like that behind closed doors. He might be. We don't know for sure. There's allegations. Some people think that she's a complete victim. Some people think that she goes along with what he wants her to do because she wants to do it. She likes what he's doing. She likes the crazy stuff that he does. All the racism that he spouts, that she's all with it because otherwise she would have been got away from him. Remember, there was that time when allegedly her friends tried to pull her over to the side and say, "Sis, you need to come with us right now. You need to get away from him. It's not good for your life. He's got you out here looking like a cuckoo bird who just flew over the nest at 6 a.m. this morning." But she told them allegedly, "No, y'all are just jealous. That's why. Y'all are just mad because I have a man with a lot of money. That's what it is." Like I said, I don't know which one it is for sure, whether she wants to be there or she is like a victim that has been brainwashed. Either way, I hope God fixes it, and I hope he fixes it real soon because it looks real bad. And I quote, some fans also claimed the rapper was rationalizing spousal abuse, saying it was unfair to Cassie and other victims, end quote. Which is the truth. That's exactly what he and other people have been doing. It's abuse point blank, period. Now, somebody else also mentioned, is this something you would want your daughter to go through? Would you want a billionaire to exploit your daughter? Have her out here dropping her coat in front of millions of people watching, both in real life and on TV, virtually, and have her naked body on display because you're perverse? You got her out here doing all this stuff, or the guy would have her out here doing all this kind of stuff. Like, think about your daughter. You have daughters. She's watching this. I done told y'all the internet, unfortunately, is forever until the Lord comes back, because that stuff is not coming back down off the internet once it gets put on there. Now, he posted some more anti-Semitic, is the term that they use, stuff, and some other really racist stuff, calling all kind of people's wives and other people all kinds of B words and glorifying a certain person, Hitler. And I'm not about to have that, like I said, on this channel. Now, there have been a whole bunch of people talking about how he's been posting nothing but perverse prawn, if you will, on his page, on his social media platforms, that on Twitter, some of the stuff that he has posted is so bad, they had to do the little thing where they like blot it out, and then they tell you, "Oh, this may be very offensive to the viewers. Are you sure you want to view this?" And this is Twitter that we're talking about that is doing this. Y'all, when a platform, especially one like Twitter, has resorted to that because of what he posted, the nature of his tweets, that's how you know he's gone too far. That's how you know he's given over to the temptation that he claimed he wanted to fight not long ago, just some years ago, for the sake of his daughter. Remember that? Does everybody remember when he was talking about that? A lot of people were also pointing out how he was bragging about the stunt that he pulled. Like he's proud that he's done this. Talking about how his first red carpet with his wife, or his wife's first red carpet event, was oh so different. Well, yeah, it was different because you exploited her in a heinous, perverse way. Congratulations. And I mean that very sarcastically. You're the first husband who exploited his wife like that, to that magnitude on the red carpet. She's the first woman whose husband exploited her body to that magnitude on the red carpet. That's not something to brag about. It's disgusting, it's perverse, it's ungodly. Remember all that love I was talking about? Love doesn't exploit you. Love doesn't have you out here acting and looking crazy. Love doesn't have you brainwashed into thinking that what you're doing is okay when it's not. Or love is not you going and getting with somebody and all of your dysfunctional mindset doing something also dysfunctional with that person because they'll go along with it. Allegedly, he was also bragging about her being more Googled, if you will, than Beyonce because of this stunt that they pulled. And again, the levels of perverseness he must have sank, the ungodliness of his mindset to think that's something to brag about, because this will always be attached to her name. People will eventually forget about his part in this. They'll say, oh, Bianca Censori, the chick that went out and was naked on the red carpet. This will always be attached to her everywhere she goes. This will be a stain on her name, unfortunately. There are people who won't hold it against her forever because they understand. They understand that these people are human. They might make bad decisions. I wouldn't want all of my past mistakes held against me, so I'm not going to always wash her face with it every time we see her or bring her up. But unfortunately, most people in society and in the community are not like that. Like I said, it was not worth her integrity. She's the most Googled, researched, woman in the world or whatever right now. But what he's too messed up in the head to understand, what he's too perverse in his mind to understand, is that it was not worth her integrity or her dignity or her reputation. And I quote, this is Kanye speaking. I kept staring at the photo like I was staring in admiration that night, thinking, wow, I'm so lucky to have a wife that is so smart, talented, brave, and hot, end quote. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with you being attracted to your spouse. There's nothing wrong with you admiring your spouse. There's nothing wrong with you saying, wow, God, thank you for blessing me to be with somebody who's very attractive and pretty and, smart, talented, etc. Although there's a point where you cross a boundary. When you put them on a pedestal, when you idolize them, when you put them above God, again, when you exploit them, when you use them to do perverse and perverted things, or you do perverse and perverted things with them like what he did. People will justify, I know this because it's the crazy ways that people think, oh, y'all are just mad because he has a talented, smart, and hot wife. No, we want him to stop exploiting her. We want her cheeks to not be on display, like I said before, every time she comes on to the internet, every time she steps in front of a camera. Like, y'all do know that there are these things called laws. And in those laws, there's this thing called public indecency. Once again, everybody has been saying, yes, she's a beautiful woman, but she needs to not be on display. Like, you don't just put her out there because she's attractive. Now, that smart, talented, and brave part, that's debatable depending on how you think about it. Brave, I don't think so. Rebellious, absolutely. Ungodly, absolutely. We haven't seen one talent of hers actually being put on display. Her being attractive is not a talent before anybody uses that one. We haven't seen nary a talent coming from this woman. Now, smart, like I said, is debatable depending on how you look at it. Because if she's playing the long game, then maybe she is smart or just conniving in a malicious way. And what do I mean by that? There have been people saying, oh, y'all think she's crazy or she's brainwashed. She might be playing the long game. And by that, I mean, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's married to him. If anything happens to Kanye today, guess where all of his stuff goes to? So again, that's why I can't say whether or not she's actually being brainwashed or if she's going along with this because she wants to and she's playing the long game. Now, the people on social media had some things to say, and I quote, one person on YouTube said, "They don't want him in Japan. I don't understand why Wendy's locked up and Kanye's walking free with the facepalm emoji," end quote. And the reason why they brought up Japan was because allegedly he did try to go over there. He tried to move to Japan. I'm not sure why he's back. Maybe they basically decided, we don't want you over here. That might have been the reason. I'm not sure. But he did try to go over to Japan. I'm going to be honest. It's giving Russell Simmons going to Bali to get away from them allegations, allegedly. It's giving Ellen DeGeneres running over there to the UK, allegedly. Her claiming that, oh, I can't be in a country with a president who's not on board with same-sex marriages, when we all know good and doggone well that just like all the rest of these celebrities, she probably had something to do to some degree, allegedly, with P. Devil Combs, and she don't want her dirt to come out. Even if she didn't have anything to do with him, they know that dirt is coming out now. The skeletons are running out of the closets. Allegedly, that's why she really ran over there to the UK. Apparently, they're sick of her too over there. Another person doubled down on that and said, and I quote, shaking my head, "I feel like something is coming out soon on Kanye," end quote. Something that already came out on him. Remember, he had a whole lawsuit filed against him for some of the same stuff that lawsuits were filed against P. Devil Combs. People want to make it seem like, oh, he's innocent, especially with Kanye making these tweets or these posts where he was basically trying to say, screw the Me Too movement. Women aren't innocent. He was really trying to paint every woman who had been through a domestic violence situation like she had done something wrong, something to deserve being beat, or that she was not an actual victim. Nobody said that all women tell the truth. We've said multiple times, many people have said multiple times, that we understand that some women are false accusers, but they don't represent the whole of the majority of women who are telling the truth, who have been abused, whose voices deserve to be heard. It's giving, he's really just mad because we've gotten to a place in society where you will be held accountable for harassing, assaulting, or hurting a woman, or a child for that matter. And instead of taking up for him and saying, oh yeah, some of these women be lying, and then accuse all women who are making accusations liars, y'all need to be seeing him for what he really is. He's basically telling y'all he misses the time where he could hurt somebody and get away with it, not have to face consequences. I don't think y'all understand. Y'all don't want that kind of mentality to come back to our society, because it's really only been a couple of decades since women were even able to get the time of day to file lawsuits, to even make accusations. Women were getting assaulted left and right in their own homes by their own family members, at the workplaces by co-workers and bosses. And they were not heard. Imagine how many women did not come forward because they knew nobody would believe them. Imagine how many women are broken and still traumatized today because nobody listened and they did not get the justice that they deserved after they were traumatized and hurt, simply because some guy who was in charge of the justice holding their abuser accountable, hated women, was misogynistic, and did not care enough about them to make sure they got the justice, and held whatever woman lied before against them, even though it was not their fault. The fact that people see that mentality being shoved in all of our faces and will still support the celebrities that's shoving it in our faces once again shows you how society really feels about women and women who have been abused. Newsflash, spoiler alert, so many people, including some women, do not care. It is really sad and disgusting. God help us all. Another person on YouTube said, and I quote, Kanye got a reminder about the Diddy tapes with the nervous face emoji with the sweat dripping down. I told y'all before, be mindful of how people react to these allegations, to what's happening to P. Diddy Combs. It'll show you a whole lot about what kind of person they really are and if they got skeletons hiding in their closet. Somebody else said he's probably about to drop an album very soon, which again, I wouldn't even be surprised, because we've seen before celebrities jump off the absolute deep end to get attention before something that they're doing comes up. And if that's the case, he needs to be drugged for absolute filth. Downplaying domestic violence against women, because remember, they only do this to the women, just so that he could promote an album or get more attention. Just disgusting, just pitiful. And he's not the first person who's done something crazy like this. Y'all remember Ryan Garcia when he got up on the internet and was making all these allegations about being assaulted when he was a child? Talk about, oh, I got all the evidence and I'm going to expose everybody. Didn't expose anybody, didn't bring not one receipt. And then all of a sudden he had a match coming up. And people were saying, I really hope he didn't do all of this just to get attention for his match. Because one, is disgusting and it's a slap in the face to the actual victims and the children who did go through that kind of stuff. But you see, they didn't drag him the way they would have drugged some woman who would have done the same. The double standard of it all. Somebody else said, and I quote, ain't nobody paying attention to Kanye. He's probably been off his meds for a couple of days. Now, I do understand some people when they are dealing with certain issues, they have certain mental health issues, and if they are not taking their proper medication, they will jump off the deep end. Literally sometimes, and figuratively at other times, and maybe even both. But what people need to understand, what I'm gonna, issue some tough love, if you will, if you know you got problems, you have a responsibility to take your medication. If you know that medication is keeping you from jumping off the deep end, you need to be taking it. And you need to be praying too. You need to be on what you need to be on to make sure your mind is together. And then when your mind is together and not clouded, you need to be praying that God will deliver you so you can get off of that medication and you won't have to take it to keep from jumping off the deep end. That's the tough love that people need to give to some people. I understand that not everybody with mental health issues acts like Kanye. I'm addressing the ones who do. If you know you got issues, if you know you got to take medication to keep you from, again, jumping off the deep end, you have a responsibility to take those medications. We're not taking any excuses, oh, I was off my meds. You can't afford to do that. You need to make sure you're on it. When you're on it and you say, oh, I feel great, it's because you're on it. Stay on them. Again, and keep praying until God heals you of whatever you're dealing with. There's no excuse for any of this. Once again, a lot of the Christian content creators and just the Christian community as a whole are saying that they're praying for him. And that's a good thing to do. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Y'all got to understand at the same time, the person has to want to change. They have to want God to change them. God's not going to force anybody to do right. It takes prayers and a willing heart to change. Although I do think it's commendable that people are still praying for him. I don't see anything wrong with them calling out what he did because it needs to be addressed. Because whether y'all believe this or not, there are people who support everything that he's doing. So, yeah, he needs to be called out. His actions need to be condemned. And he does need to be prayed for. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all of this down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all. Have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.